There is something that makes me come into your presence. My helper.
We are peculiar people. We rejoice when things go wrong. We shed tears when we are happy and sing a brand new song. We're redeemed by the blood of Jesus. We're the children of the heavenly King. And if you care to join me, just come along and sing. Every day is exciting. It's a new surprise. Miracles just happen right before our eyes. We don't question where it ends, for we already know. And if King Jesus comes today, to heaven we will go. We are peculiar people. We rejoice when things go wrong. We shed tears when we are happy and sing a brand new song. We're redeemed by the blood of Jesus. We're the children of the heavenly King. And if you care to join me, just come along and say. Some of us are quiet, some of us are loud. All of us are grateful, none of us are proud. We are not what we used to be. We're better off by far. And if you care to join me, just come along and sing. Every day is exciting. It's a new surprise. Miracles just happen right before our eyes. We don't question where it ends, for we already know. And if King Jesus comes today, to heaven we will go. Amen. Amen. Praise the Lord. I'm glad to be here again. And I want to thank Mom. We are talking and she, felt I should come and share my experience on faith mission for the past 32 years. And I was talking with one of my friends. I asked her to pray for me because I haven't lived by faith doing missions, particularly foreign missions, home mission for 32 years. How many days do I need to tell the world that God is faithful? How many days do you think I need? 32 years? Lifetime. God bless you. My journey of faith started on the 27th of June 1983 when I resigned my job from technical school. Mashi is in Katsina State, where I was teaching, to go into full-time ministry. And what brought me out, I was born in a Muslim community. I grew up there. I went through school, primary, secondary, university, got married there. And the Lord was saying in Isaiah 2:9, the people who walk in darkness have seen a great light. And what I heard was that the women that were walking in darkness, for those of us who were born in the north, you know that a woman doesn't have a say. Whether as a child, a daughter in the house, or as a wife. And so my journey of faith, I resigned my job. For those of us who were working in 1980-81, 160 naira was a lot of money. That was my basic salary. And so I resigned and I took the journey to faith. I left Mashi. The state government did not release me. So they didn't even pay me my June salary to think of paying me anything. I've only worked for 9 months anyway, so I wasn't entitled for anything. So, but at least I should have been given my salary as a welfare package, but they didn't give me. And then I moved on. I got married, to somebody who was a full-time minister with FCS, Fellowship of Christian Students, as a traveling secretary. And as a full-time wife, I was entitled to 30 naira, which never came for the 2 years I was there. So I decided to hold on. God has been faithful. So in 1984, 85, 86, we got involved in reaching out to the Muslims in Senegal. And before I left finally the country with my 9-month-old son, my mother looked at me and said, does your father have relation, your husband have relation in Senegal? My mother-in-law said that these two people must be crazy. Graduates, others are working work where they pay them money, and this ones decided to live by faith. We said something to ourselves. If God cannot put food on our table, there is no guarantee that he will take us to heaven. That was what was driving us, two young people. Two young people. If God cannot put food on my table, what guarantee do I have that when I die, he will take me to heaven? So my mother said, okay, since you people are stubborn, so I should leave my son for her, so that if we go there and die, she will be remembering us with my son. He happens to be their first grandchild, 9 months old. So I told her, if God called me, knowing that I will have children, is because he has decided to support me and my children. So we left for Senegal, got to Lagos at the airport. They said we were overweight, we had so much excess because she prepared dry onubu, dry ogo, dry okazi, dry everything. Buy package palm oil, as if I don't go heaven with that. We got to Lagos, they said, well, you're overweight, this is the only thing you can carry. While we are checking in the others, try to sort out what you need. For a country I have never lived before. So anyway, we carried what was necessary and we left. And we got to Senegal. We couldn't raise money to pay rent, so we were living with another missionary couple. And God provided for us. We were living by the beach. Every morning when the fishermen come back, they feel that is, I ate fish and rice, rice and fish. Fish and rice. I ate snail from the sea. The only thing I didn't enjoy was red oil, palm oil, because I couldn't afford. So we used tomato to color our soup. But the good thing about it is, for the 2 years I spent in Ghana, in Senegal, the Lord provided for my every need. So that child my mother wanted me to leave behind, when World Vision saw her, they said, you are here with a baby? Is he drinking milk in his pudding? I said, when we get, we put. So they put my child on the list of those children who receives milk. So if I had left him behind, I forget milk. I for no get to. So 2nd of August, we actually went. My husband is a distinction student. He read French in UNN. So he actually went to Senegal to help this couple start the work. So we were able to plant a church. And then we left on the 2nd of August to Republic of Guinea. Mind you, when we were leaving, we had only one-way ticket. It's like go and die. So we went, had a ticket to Senegal, Senegal to Conakry, and that was final bus stop. So if we ever wanted to come home, miracle will just have to happen. And it happened every day. And so 2nd of August, 29 years ago, we went to Republic of Guinea. And got there, the only bag I had that contained all my baby food, or everything World Vision had given for the upkeep of my son, was stolen at the airport. So God just wanted me to arrive here again empty. So we got, yes, now so that we'll change our mind and come back. And so we got to Guinea. And then a missionary from Australia were on holiday, so they picked us, kept us in their own home for about a month, and then they came back, and then we had to look for a place to live, and then there was no money to rent a house. And then this brother who was translating Bible for the missionary said we could come live in his house. So he had a son who had polio, and then a room and parlor. The son was living in the parlor, we lived in the room, one door, one window. And so when the sun goes out, when we wake in the morning, we can't just walk out. You have to wait for Abraham to wake, open the front door, then you come out. If we go out, Abraham is out. We come back, we sit out and wait for him. But in this country, there was so much snail, eju, where they know they chop them. So that they use bucket, they pack and they bring for. You know how much they sell snail now? One I bought the other day, 500, one big one, small one at 250. So they were using buckets to bring it. And then I discovered that they have vubogor. You know the one, that pumpkin, the leaf, the thing they grow everywhere. Not only the fruit they eat, they know they eat ham. Oh man. What did we say? God is what? Faithful. So I chop am with my rice in the morning. In the night, in the afternoon, I make rice tuwo and eat with my or soup. In the night, I make rice and then I will eat. And then they asked us to come home for a conference. They had to send money. We went. And when my mother saw me, she was expecting to see a ghost, somebody very slim and, you know, tattered. But in between time, a group of missionaries in Cote d'Ivoire from Europe said that for these people to have taken this step of faith, we must encourage them from our own support. So they raised their support and sent. Then one of the missionaries came help my husband. We built a baby cot, built our bed, and then we had 2 pots. When you cook and it's remaining, you pour it out in a plate. And so we continued, and it got to a point I have to go to white missionaries' house, pick the empty cans of canned food they've eaten, take it to the market, sell it, and then we get something to eat. But I have met a lady here in Nigeria. She came for Peace Corps while I was teaching in Mashi. So one time she wrote me a letter. I know now you can just call, do text, send Facebook. But that time when we write a letter, it takes 6 months, 3 months to come, and then 3 months for the reply to come back. So that means one letter, if you write 2 letters, that's for this 1 year. So, and if you have to send fax message, you know that it has to be an office that can receive. It's not like now. And so she said something to me. She said that money will not stop the work of missions. And then she decided to trek halfway to her work, save the money, and every month she sent us £50. And £50 was a lot of money then. And so we kept on, and at each turn, there was one thing we enjoyed. It was good health. So we didn't have the business of running helter-skelter. The only time my son fell sick, and we took him to the hospital, and then they discovered he had measles. I said, but I vaccinated him. After running tests, they discovered the vaccine they gave him was an expired vaccine. So, and that day they said we are going to hospitalize us. My son just told the nurse, aujourd'hui, je dors pas à l'hôpital, je vais aller à la maison. That he will not sleep in the hospital. He must go home. We stayed there 12 midday, 1, 3, he was on drip. And by 5, 6, he called the nurse that she should do quick and remove this thing. That he wants to go home. That he doesn't sleep in hospitals. That he has his bed at home. So the nurse called the doctor and told him, he said, well, once the drip is through, don't put another one. Let him go and sleep on his bed. Tomorrow they can bring him back. And so God kept on. And then I had, I had another baby. The first day I went to the hospital in Guinea, the general teaching hospital, whatever you call it, in Conakry. I came back with candidiasis because the place was so dirty, no seat to sit. We sat on the floor while we waited for doctor. And it was compulsory to go home and have the baby. So I came home, and God showed mercy. We lived with this young man I talked to you about for about 6 months, and the Lord provided a house for us, and then we relocated to our own house, and God provided the rent. One of the times we couldn't pay the rent, and the man's son came and insulted my husband. He got home, his mouth swole, and then he went to the mosque to show the imam that his mouth is swollen. He asked him what happened. He told him, he said, you went to abuse a man of God, and now your mouth is swollen. What do you want me to do? You go back to him. So he came back in the evening with his mouth sagging, and there was a knock at the gate. And when we came back, Ibrahim, qu'est-ce qu'il y a? And because God is faithful, God wanted to stir up the town. So we prayed for him, and the mouth went down. And so he went back. And so they renamed my husband to pastor of the town. And so that brought it back. God just wanted to announce us. And that was the last time anybody insulted us for house rent. One of the times, Reverend Vicio Rebayo, who was the leader of Foursquare then, closed his account in Britain to DHL us the money to pay the rent. He said that as we are doing God's work, we must not be molested and we must not be insulted. He closed his account, sent it by DHL. I was called I met him in South Korea. I've never known him before. We've known miracles at airports. One of the times I was traveling with my son, and then I got to the airport. The brother who took me to the airport almost sold his trouser to pay the excess luggage. So I told God, in this airport, I will carry what I need, but I will not pay an excess luggage again. So one of the times I was traveling, and then we were on the line, Nigerian Airways in those days, and then they were putting things on the scale, excess luggage you pay. Then just before, 6 people before us, they say, okay, you are with children, come over to this scale. They put all our suitcases, and everything was tagged, and they finished tagging it, and then the next person put his own. They say he has excess luggage. While our load was on the scale did not read. When they removed it, the scale started reading. And then the person said, but this woman's suitcase is bigger than my own. Why is my own weighing more? Meanwhile, my own don't climb conveyor belt. They go down, 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 down. And so when I finished that, I got, Nigerian Airways in those days, they will always overbook. They say, ma'am, you and 3 children, there is no space for you. The manager said, from Guinea, said, last week I saw pastor at the airport. Now you can call and say, you didn't get your flight, or your flight was cancelled, but that time there was nothing like that. He said, the pastor can't come again. He gave up his seat. I sat down. He stood with the pilot inside. 6.5 hour flight to Conakry. And then one of the times we went to UK, and then our friends went on holiday, brought us to the airport with so much load. And then she said, don't tell them your host is around. You just go. Whatever happens, we'll know what to do. So we got there. We met a man who was transiting from California, and they told him to pay 84 pounds. He said, but it's on transit. They said, that's not a problem. You're going to check that out with your people. But here you're going to pay 84 pounds. So my husband looked at me. I looked at myself. My children were already carrying their big bag like this. So while we were there, 2 people came in. A lady wearing flowery gown with gathers, and a young man came to a fresh counter and said, you come with your wife and children. The first suitcase, 2 suitcases had already weighed what the 4 of us were entitled to carry. But he put on everything, tagged them, and then we carried the one we thought was hand luggage, and we are going to the gate. They say, no, this is overweight. We only take 5 kg. You go back to the counter where they checked you in. Let them tag it and put it back. You're not going to pay. So we went back to that counter, and there was nobody there. We asked this one here. They said this counter is not working today. Nobody has been on this counter. That means God sent angels to check in our luggage. Everything we went to the airport. By the time they put my husband's hand luggage, it was weighing 13 kg. He's only entitled to carry 5. And we got to Kano Airport. They wanted to steal that bag. So that is we were afraid. You know, that thing marked me that I still remember the dress that woman was wearing. I was talking on 1991. And then when we came out, by the time we finished everything, we just did like this to our host. So they took off. God is faithful. God is what? Faithful. I have all the countries I have been to. One of the times I was to go to South Korea, I didn't have money to go to Senegal to get my visa because that was where they had an embassy. So somebody was going, do they do it? I gave him my passport. And then he got there, the only I paid was $20. He came back with my passport stamped. I have never been to the gate of any embassy. And I was denied visa. I've never sat down for 20 minutes examination or interview. It has always been God's favor. I was told that if you've never been to America, before you go, you must have big money in your bank account, you must have landed property, you must have this, you must have that. But the first time I went, 20 women were invited from Nigeria to come for a training, and I was the only woman who was given visa. Out of the 19 of us, 10 minutes interview. And then the second time, 25 women from Africa. I was the only woman who got visa to go from Africa. 4 minutes interview. And so today, in that environment, they call me Miss Africa. So I didn't contest for it, but it came. God is what? Faithful. If you don't know the meaning of faithfulness, I think when you look at me, for 32 years, I've not been on a salary. I don't receive allowance. But when there is a need, I call to people, I send texts, I tell them, well, this is the need we have. Please, can you help us? I was talking to the sisters with me. I said, all the time I need money, it doesn't come. But when God sees that I need it, he goes flogging people. They will see me in their dream. I was in the market with a basket, going around. I was not buying anything. And God gives them a list. And they buy everything. And then they spend the whole day looking for my house. I never live in an easy-to-find place anyway. Because when you walk with God, you don't walk where traffic is passing. You stay where only him can identify and notice you. I've lived in Jos. There are a lot of people. The last time I called mom, there was a very big crisis. She said, what are you still doing there? Every woman have left with their children. I was the only woman left in that community. And my daughter wanted to leave. She said, what are you still doing there? I said, well, when he asked us to leave, I will let. He said, okay, now when you are ready, you let us know. But you know what God did? He put the light of heaven. People 4 kilometers saw our compound surrounded with light. And then a drunken man was coming back about 10 p.m. He said he saw 10 men. We are dropped in a vehicle at our gate. They dropped the 10 men and they turned and they went. They saw the tires because it had just finished raining. They saw the the tire marks where it made a U-turn, dropped the 10 hefty men, all in white. We were sleeping. We didn't know what was happening. The dogs in my compound were barking like wildfire. My daughter had a visitor and then my husband said, keep quiet, let me know here why the dogs are barking. The whole men in the community woke up. They were looking for these 10 men. And then in the morning, the Mangwa came to our house. Reverend, did you have visitors last night? I said, no. He said, but those men, they drop in Canada, they enter your compound. So God has been faithful. I survived this. I lived 10 years in Guinea-Conakry. I started in somebody's room, but I left staying in a flat that all the rooms, including the sitting room, had 2 air conditions, and the government was paying. I have used 8 cars. The 8th one I called mom last month, isn't it June? I told her family has just blessed me that I should stop driving clutching. I should begin to cruise automatic. 8 cars, 2 were official cars, the first 2. But the last 6, 2007, I'm glad Mama Chinyere is here. We had a prayer conference at the Communica Center. September 29th, I was going back, and our Jeep had an accident and caught fire. And then we came back, slept in Abuja the next. Within 2 weeks, 3 families gave me 3 cars. They replaced the Jeep that was burnt, gave me a 5.5 and a Lorette Datsun within 2 weeks. 2 days after the accident, the family gave us a bus that you have to move. I live 50 kilometers to Jos. It takes me about 40 minutes to drive. So he said you need to come out in and out, or give us a bus to be using. And within 2 weeks, God replaced 1 car with 3. When I went to collect the 3rd car, they said, well, the car has been down. So they gave me 25,000, buy battery, service the car. I told them I don't need a 3rd car because I can't maintain it. They said, well, God said we should give you the car. Whatever you want to do with it, go and do with it. I said, am I free to give it out? Am I free to sell it? They said, you can sell it and maintain the 2. Even though the mechanic ate part of the money, but God is faithful. So it has not been easy. God has seen us through. I have 2 children, biological, not by choice, but that's not by force, but by choice, because of the work we've been doing. And I have raised other children who, all I'm talking about since is that we have only one life to live. It is only what is done for Christ that will last. If Jesus be God and left all the glories in heaven and came down, I don't think there is any sacrifice that is too big for me to make. My daughter was 15 when she saw me looking for a certificate. I wanted to do a course in Unijust. They said, okay, bring your certificate. It took me 6 months to find it. And when she saw me, she said, Mommy, you went to university. I asked her, does it give vitamin? If I carry my certificate on my forehead, does it make me educated? It doesn't. I said, yes, so I went, but now they need it for me to do the course I want to do. And then I found it. When I found the certificate, the next thing I had is that what I asked you to do? 2 years ago, I gave a testimony of how God healed me. I had a growth in the heart, and they were going to operate on me. And we were not going to be able to pay that bill. So heaven decided to carry out the operation. Because the Dr. Kamara Usman, who was the chief consultant, said that we should go and pray. Maybe, peut-être, maybe your God will answer. But that this operation needs 7 specialists. And that they will not tell me how much I will pay until after the operation. That means I will be in bondage for life. Because if you tell me, I'll decide if I want to do or not. So after that, God waited. I was to go into a hospital on a Monday. By Saturday, God carried out the operation. I was paralyzed on one side. I couldn't give a bath to myself. I couldn't eat with my right hand. I couldn't raise anything. But do I look like somebody who has been paralyzed before? So, on Saturday, God did it. And then on Monday, my husband said, we just go for the appointment. So I went to tie my suitcase. The doctor said, you come, where come valise? I said, there's no valise. I didn't come with valise, no box. I came to see you as agreed. So they are sitting on a long table, consultant. So they said I should go and do another X-ray and scan. And each one is $1,000. A Muslim friend was paying. So I did it and I brought it. And then they looked at it. They said they did not see anything. The first scan had the growth. The second one did not have anything. So, and that's brought up also another revival. On the 9th of next month, I'll be going to Haiti for an outreach. I covet your prayer. I'm glad I've seen the program for next year's Mom Conference and be to go to Sudan next year, April. Because the Lord has been gracious. He said the oil that flows from us, we should go around for the healing of the nations. I've been to the 15 countries in the West Coast and trying to help women who are walking in darkness to see a great light. So God said it is time for East Africa. So our first port of call is in Sudan. And I'll be going, by the grace of God, April next year. I will covet your prayers. But I know I can't say much, so I have summarized my testimony. He said he is the Lord Most High, who dwells in light inexpressible, creator of all things, visible and invisible. He is the Lord, the mighty tower, a shade for his people. He is the risen Lord, who lives forevermore. He is the self-existing God of all flesh. He is supreme. He is sovereign. He is all-sufficient God, King of kings and Lord of lords. He is mighty in battle, the conqueror of nations, the decider of destinies, the great warrior and Lord of hosts, the Alpha and the Omega, beginning and end. He is awesome. He is and was and will ever be the eternal God, the living word, the bread of life, the rose of Sharon, the lily of the valley, the bright morning star. He is the way, the truth, and the life. He is faithful, true, and loving. He is caring, tender, gentle. He is meek and mild, yet he is mighty to save, heal, and deliver. He is the great high priest, after the order of Melchizedek. He is Emmanuel, God with us, the living truth, who died to save humanity, but rose to preserve posterity. He is the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the blessed Trinity. Holy Three in One. He is Jehovah Jireh. He is my El Shaddai, the great provider for his own. He is Jehovah Shammah. He is Jehovah Nissi, my banner. He is Jehovah Elohim. He is Jehovah Elohim. He is Jehovah Rapha, my healer. He is Jehovah El-Kanim. He is Jehovah Ra. He is Jehovah Sikinu. He is Jehovah Shammah, my peace. He is Jehovah Adonai. He is the Lord, the great I am that I am, the great Redeemer. He is my Father in heaven, brighter than the sun, the water of life, and fountain of living water, my burden bearer. He is kind, wise, and my Ebenezer. He is my guide and guide. He is my hiding place from the tides. He is my friend to the end. He is my treasure unlimited. He is my strength, perfection, the great physician. He is worthy to receive glory, honor, and adoration, worshipped by all creation, both great and small. He is beautiful beyond description, too marvelous for words, and wonderful for comprehension, like nothing ever seen or heard. He is Jehovah excellent, a wonderful counselor, everlasting Father, Prince of peace. His kingdom shall not end. He is the good shepherd. He is joy to the world, peace to men of good will. He is my ransom from death, my comfort in sorrow. He is ever-present help in time of need, the friend that sticks closer than a brother, the husband of the widow, the father to the fatherless, the helper of the helpless, the strength to the weak. He is the God of impossibilities. Nothing is too hard for him. He can raise the dead. He can heal the sick, open blind eyes, make the crippled to walk, and the dumb to talk. He is omnipotent. He is omniscient. He is glorious in holiness and fearful in praises, doing wonders always and everywhere. He is my glory and the lifter of my head, my shield and defender, my maker. He is full of beauty, splendor and grace, gathered with praise. None can grasp his infinite wisdom or fathom the depth of his love. He is with me always. He is by my side everywhere, in sunshine and in rain. He is forgiving, forgives all my iniquities, and heals all my infirmities. He is immortal, invisible, eternal, the only wise God, the center of my life, the living spring, the fourth man in the fire, the seed of the woman, the Passover lamb, pillar of fire by night, captain of my salvation, judge and lawgiver, kingsman redeemer, the reigning king, the faithful scribe, rebuilder of broken walls, the good shepherd, our everlasting redeemer, the lover, wonderful bridegroom, avenger of God's elect, the miracle worker, our justifier and unsearchable riches, the Son of righteousness with healing in his wings, the fullness of the Godhead, the blood of the new and everlasting covenant, the second man in the lion's den, the one who opens and none can shut, and shut and none can open. His voice is like thunder, and like the voice of many waters. He is high and lifted up. There is no one like him. He is simply beyond description. All hail King Jesus. All hail Emmanuel. King of kings, Lord of lords, bright morning star. Every day he gives me breath